Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. Today we're on the website of Mehlis Auctioneers based in Germany, and we're going to have a look at their latest auction. This is a huge auction which has like a ridiculous amount of lots, but we're purely going to have a look at the musical instrument part. The musical instrument part today is really tiny, so this is not going to take long at all. In fact, I'm only doing it just because we usually cover Mehlis, otherwise I probably wouldn't have done because it's so small. So lucky for you, the viewer, this will be very quick. I believe the buyer's premium for this auction is 23%, although the website is a little bit hard to navigate and understand. As I said, this is an auction based in Germany, so if you're outside of Europe or even outside of Germany, etc, try and check all the terms and conditions up here and figure out what's going on. Like I said, maybe this website not quite as clear as some of the others, but in any case, as there's so few items, I'm just going to cover everything really quickly. If you've got any comments or suggestions, feel free to post. If you know anything about any of these items that I cover that I don't know any information, please feel free to share. So let's crack on here. We've got a conductor's baton here, England 1920s tapered ebony, 3 engraved silver mounts, the stamped lion passant and 3 other hallmarks, engraved owner's monogram GRI. Okay, interesting. Let's see, 150 euros they're suggesting there. Quite a nice looking baton. There are definitely people that collect these, not me personally, but definitely are people. So nice conductor's baton here. This is an interesting lot, a pair of basically drumsticks here, dated 1918, signed Clemens Kreher, solid ebony mallets with brass handles, presumably for playing a military marching drum. Interesting, this is quite curious. 80 euros is the starting bid. Wow, that's kind of absolute giant pictures there. Interesting set of sticks actually there. Once again, I'm sure there are people that also collect this kind of thing as well. Yeah, there's the stamp there. So interesting lot for people into drums. Now back to more familiar territory here. Looks like we're constantly getting the translation request here. A violin in case, 1930s, no label, crack free, 35.6 length the back. Let's scroll through these pictures. Looks fairly standard type instrument here, but doesn't look too bad condition wise. These pictures really are quite huge, so it looks a fairly standard instrument there. 20 euros to start, so that seems reasonable. Now we have a violin, Joseph Felix Riedel, around 1880. So saying Vienna here. Has a bow marked Tubbs, Pernambuco, apparently. Mounting's made of silver. 770 euros is the initial opening bid. Almost kind of double purfling and inlay. It's kind of a Brescian style instrument. Actually looks like a fairly well made and nice instrument. Not sure exactly what the bow is there. Looks like a few bits happened to it there. Some other pictures there. Looks yeah, a nicely made instrument. 36 length of back, so it's fairly on the longish side, but not horrific. I'm not a fan of this type of scroll with the extra turn, but otherwise it looks fairly okay. Maybe the bow is kind of okay as well. So yep, there you go, not too bad. Violin here, sticky label, produced in 1939 in the Johannes Adler workshop in Markneukirchen there. 35.6 length the back, 290 to start. Looks like a solid German violin there. Nothing outrageous, but it does look in fairly nice condition actually, this one. So maybe have a look at that a bit. Looks quite fairly tidy workmanship on that one, so looks decent. Now we're on to a master violin by Udo Wunderlich there, marked in Germany. There's a copy of Stradivari 1931, Enrico Rocca branding as well. 35.8 is the length of back, €700 to start. Once again, looks quite nice scroll there. I like the magnifying glass that you get on this website. Yeah, it looks like a fairly solid instrument in a good condition. Not something that personally interests me, but maybe a good instrument for a student or something, or someone starting a bit later to the violin. I guess the price is probably fairly reasonable. Another violin here, written on the inside, Herbert Eduard Kreuzbeck, Berlin 1916, 35.3, for €20 to start. Very similar scroll to the last one. Looks a bit more individual, some cracks and damage there. Probably the nicest looking violin so far, I would say. Not too bad. Looks F-holes slightly unusual, but otherwise not too bad. Another violin here, they're saying early 20th century, 35.8 length of back. Let's see what we can make from this. Dark varnish to that. Looks like a fairly standard instrument that may have been slightly messed about with, I think, would be my inclination. €120 to start, so you can't really argue with that. It's a low starting point. Just all very kind of standard. This auction I don't think is anything really exciting, but I am just covering it anyway, just so you can see what goes on here. They're saying violin here, second half of the 19th century, with a Steiner label there. Also has a bow, 36.1. It's quite large, €80 to start. Interesting back of the scroll there. Looks a little bit wonky, the construction of this particular instrument. Probably hence the low estimate there. Yeah, I think this is just a very kind of low tier trade instrument. Let's have a look if we can see anything from the bow. I think once again a low tier kind of trade bow there as well. And we're on to the last violin, I think, early 20th century, 35.8, €80 to start. This is a very kind of generic trade violin. I don't think we really need to go into this too much further. Now we've got a double bass bow here by Echner, the French style. Looks like a fairly solid bow, but nothing of kind of real note. €80 there. Got a double bass, 1950s, €150 to start. Once again, looks like a fairly low quality, but €150 is not too bad a start. Got a couple of saxophones, alto saxophone here, Roland Meinl, €100 to start there. Tenor saxophone, 20th century, Elkhart in the USA, €300 they're looking for on that. And we've got Hohner, 4 harmonicas, 1920s to 1950s, with an Echophone in the original box. €20 to start. Well, there's definitely people that collect these. Very interesting looking one there. And we have a concertina beginning with the 20th century. €70 to start there. Concertina in a case there, beginning of the 20th century. Some music for it as well. Quite nice looking ones, to be fair. Better than most of them that we see. And then I think on to the last lot, another concertina, 20th century. All these three concertinas, fairly nice. Some nice little bits of music with them. Well, I think that's pretty much it. So not the most exciting auction. I apologise for that, but this is the Mehlis auction. They usually happen maybe twice or maybe 3 times a year. Usually the musical instrument section's a lot bigger. This one not so much. Nothing really super interesting in this auction as far as I'm aware, but if you know different, let me know. Probably the baton and the drumsticks are the most interesting, but have a look at yourself and see what you think. I'll put a link in the description. As always, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. Many thanks for tuning in to the Musical Instrument Investigator. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, then please like, subscribe and turn on notifications, and watch out for the next video coming soon.